Unfortunately, we live in a world where personal finance isn't something they teach us in school. This means that by the time we enter our adult lives, we already have bad financial habits ingrained into us. These bad financial habits can morph into serious problems if they aren't corrected early. In this video, we're going to talk about the worst money mistakes that you can make in your 20s and how to avoid them. But before we start, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel for more awesome content. Mistake number 1, not budgeting. It's no secret that young people often make mistakes when it comes to money. One of the biggest mistakes is failing to budget properly. This can lead to major financial stress down the road. Budgeting is one of the most important financial skills that anyone can learn. A budget helps you track your income and expenses to make sure that your spending stays within your means. When you budget, you're creating a roadmap for your finances, which can help you make better choices about how to spend your money. Budgeting is especially important for people who are trying to save money. By tracking your spending and setting aside money each month for savings, you can make sure that you're on track to reach your financial goals. Remember that the amount of money you make doesn't matter when it comes to budgeting. People earning $1 million a year can still end up poor, and people earning $35,000 a year can be quite well off. It's not what you earn, it's what you spend. So what can you do to start budgeting? Here are a few tips. Tip 1. Track where your money's going. Start by tracking your monthly expenses. This will help you see where your money is going each month. Simply grab a piece of paper and write down all of the things you typically spend your money on. These could be things like rent, food, and bills, for example. Tip 2. Avoid big-name brands. Avoid unnecessary expenses, such as eating out or buying new clothes all the time. Try to stick to a new budget for these types of activities. But if you do need to buy something, don't always go for the big-name brands. Most of the time, you can find the exact same product for a fraction of the price simply by going with a lesser-known brand. Tip 3. Have a goal to work towards. Think about your long-term goals and find a way to save for them. This can include saving for a house, car, or retirement fund. A good way to do this is by setting up an automatic payment from your main checking account. This way, you won't even notice the money when it comes out, and you'll treat it just like another bill. Following a monthly budget instills financial discipline. It's the lack of this financial discipline that makes most of us fall into money problems later in life. Mistake number 2. Not planning for retirement. Another major mistake that many people make in their 20s is not starting to save for retirement early enough. I know you're in your 20s and retirement seems like a million years away, but trust me, it sneaks up on you quicker than you think. If you start saving now, even if it's just a little bit, it will compound over time, and you will be so glad you started early. One of the biggest problems with not planning for retirement is that you can run the risk of not having enough money saved up when you retire. This can leave you with no choice but to work well into your old age, which can be really difficult if you're not in good health. Mistake number 3. Not having an emergency fund. Another very common mistake is not having an emergency fund. Things happen. You lose your job, you get sick, your car breaks down, and it's important to have some money set aside to cover these unexpected expenses. Ideally, you should have enough money in your emergency fund to cover 3 to 6 months of living expenses. This may seem like a lot, but it's important to have a cushion in case of an emergency. One of the best ways to build an emergency fund is to set up a separate savings account and automatically transfer a fixed amount of money into it each month. This way, you can slowly build up your emergency fund over time without even thinking about it. Mistake number 4. Abusing credit cards. Too many people spend money they haven't earned to buy things they don't want to impress people that they don't like. Will Rogers said that, and it couldn't be more true. One of the worst money mistakes you can make in your 20s is abusing credit cards. It's easy to do, especially if you don't have a lot of money saved up. But it's a dangerous habit to get into, and it can really come back to bite you later on down the road. Credit cards can be a great tool if used properly, But if you're using them to live beyond your means, you're only digging yourself into a deeper hole of debt. Remember that debt is good to buy a house or start a business, but it's never your friend. It's important to remember that credit cards are not free money. You need to be able to pay off your balance each month, or you'll end up paying a lot of interest. If you're in your 20s and are already struggling with credit card debt, it's time to make a change. Start by strategically paying off your cards and commit to only spending what you can afford. It's not easy, but it's the only way to get out of debt and stay out of debt and keep your credit report clean. If you have a particularly high credit card debt, you should consider looking into taking out a personal loan from your bank in order to pay off the credit card debt you've accrued. This is known as debt consolidation. The reasoning behind it is that you can usually get a personal loan for a much lower interest rate than what the credit card companies tend to charge. For example, let's say that you owe $20,000 on your credit card and your interest rate is 15.99%. This is obviously quite high, right? Well, if you go to your bank and take out a loan for $20,000 with an interest rate of, say, 7.99%, you could use that money to pay off your credit card debt. Now you'll still be in debt by $20,000, but instead of paying 15.99% interest per year, you'll only be paying 7.99%, which can make a huge difference in paying your loan off quicker. Mistake number 5. Not discussing your finances. If you're in a relationship, it's important to discuss finances with your significant other. Money is often a touchy subject for most people, but it's important to talk about it with your partner. You need to be on the same page financially, because if you're not, it can cause a lot of problems. In fact, studies show that most divorces occur due to money-related problems and stress. If you're not sure how to start the conversation, try sitting down and creating a budget together. This will help you both understand where your money is going and where you need to cut back. It's also a good way to get a better idea of your financial goals. Once you've created a budget, start working towards your financial goals together. This is a great way to stay on track and make sure you're both on the same page. Now, I'm no relationship expert, but it's going to be very hard to achieve your financial goals if you have a partner who is constantly wanting to go away on lavish vacations and eat out at 5-star restaurants. If you're in your 20s and are in a relationship, make sure you discuss finances with your partner. It's an important conversation to have, and it can really help you both in the long run. Mistake number 6. Getting into debt to show off. Everyone wants a shiny new ride, but is it worth going heavily into debt just to maintain some social clout? A new car is a great status symbol, but it's not worth going into debt for. If you can't afford a new car, don't buy it. It's not worth the financial stress and burden that comes along with it. There are plenty of affordable cars out there that will get you from point A to point B, and in the long run, they'll save you a lot of money. The same goes for taking out a loan to travel. We're constantly being bombarded with pictures of people traveling the world on social media, and we feel like we're missing out. The truth is, what you see on social media is only what the person posting wants you to see. Everyone wants to show off the best moments of their lives, but they will never show the bad moments. So, don't fall into the trap of trying to keep up with the Joneses. If you really want to travel the world, go for it, but save the money yourself. That way, when you come back, you won't have a massive debt hanging over your head. What do you think? Did you find these tips helpful? Or maybe you have some tips of your own. Let us know in the comment section below. As always, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.